What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and in this video I'm going to bring you the fancy or premium version of the Red Hulk and Cable team-up. Hopefully you remember this from the last Poor Man's PvP episode, but if you haven't seen it, I'll put the link up on the screen right now. Okay, so while this footage is rolling in the background, I want to talk about the upcoming PvP improvements for MAA. Like the title says, there have been some major changes announced. What I'm going to do is read you these changes, and I'll also post a link in the description below. And if something seems like it isn't clear, I'll try to clear it up for you. Alright, so first things first, they said we'll begin to see some improvements starting with Season 15. So in the very next season, there's going to be a few changes. And then in Season 16 and beyond, we'll begin to see the rest of these announced changes. So for PvP Season 15, there will be a forfeit button. Basically, they said that they understand that sometimes you find yourself in a situation that you can't win. Currently, we have to go through the trouble of reloading the entire game, but now there's going to be a forfeit button. This will allow us to resign the match and basically give the other team the win, so this will count as a loss. However, the benefit will be that we'll get to the PvP screen faster than if we fought or refreshed. So that's not a bad first update, it's definitely something we needed. Next, another change that will be implemented in PvP Season 15, a skip combat messages option. Currently there is a supposed fast setting for combat messages, but as we all know, it still gets tedious to wait on all the buffs and debuffs to pop up. At the start of a lot of matches is a prime example. Well, starting next season, the fast option is going to be the default, and then there's also going to be a new setting to skip combat messages. This should considerably speed up combat, especially in PvP, but they do note that some statuses, those that change health or stamina, still animate, but only to announce the gain or loss. That's another improvement that they definitely needed to make, because some matches you just had to wait forever. And on a personal bright note, that should help out as far as video length, and the amount of matches that I could squeeze into a video. Moving on to the next announcements, these are for future tournaments. So unfortunately, they're not saying these are going to be implemented in Season 15. However, these changes will start to appear in Season 16, and hopefully some of them in particular come sooner than later. Anyway, the first of these changes are future level cap tournaments. In the future, there will be certain tournaments that cap every player's level to a certain number. The example that they give is one season could be a level 60 tournament. So if you are level 300 or anything above 60, you'll be brought down to a level 60. Let me emphasize that that's for the PvP tournament only. Outside of the tournament, and when it ends, you'll be a level 300 or whatever you are, just like normal. Actually, I'll go ahead and quote exactly what they say. This allows us to matchmake players based heavily on their skill, their armory bonus, and their hero bonus, rather than primarily by their level. We truly believe this will be a very positive experience for all players. It will give all players more opponents to fight, and those opponents should feel more fair. And it goes on to say, so how does it work? Players who are above the level cap simply will be set to the capped level for PvP tournament fights. Just like I said, outside of PvP, you'll still be your normal level. And those who are below the cap will stay at their level even in PvP. So if it's for level 70 and you're only a level 30, you won't be kicked up to a level 70. The post goes on to say when players are capped, their weapon levels will be adjusted downward accordingly. Once again, this is only for the tournament fight, not for PvE. However, this will be done by a percentage based on the difference between the current PvE agent level and the weapon's power level. That means that you'll want to reforge your weapons to make sure that their power levels are as close to your agent level as possible. Otherwise, the difference between them could be pretty dramatic when capped to a lower level. I have to say that part I don't like. The main reason is because reforging costs way too much gold. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense, but I really hope they lower the reforge costs. Next up for a future tournament will be matchmaking improvements. For this announcement, they admitted that PvP can be pretty hectic and discouraging, particularly for newer or less hardcore players. And that's definitely the truth. It goes on to say perhaps you don't own every hero, or you don't have your armory stocked with the latest and greatest items. They don't think that this means you shouldn't have fun or be entitled to a fair fight. I think that most of us can agree with that. So what they have planned is a new tiered matchmaking system that gradually and more intelligently finds opponents that are a suitable match for you. This is one of the changes that can't come soon enough. For this one, they're going to have 3 key factors, so this is going to determine your matchups. First, the agent's level, next, the current season rating, and then the player's PvP bonuses, both from heroes and armory items. For players in the Silver League, the system chooses opponents that are on or below the player's level, also with similar or slightly less PvP bonuses. This generally means that as long as a player uses heroes that work well together and has them equipped with relevant ISO 8, they should be matched against opponents they can defeat. Then players in the Gold League are similarly matched by their level and PvP bonuses, but the system finds slightly tougher opponents. Once a player reaches Diamond, the system no longer cares about PvP bonuses. Instead, it switches to matching players with a similar rating. Lastly, players in Vibranium and Adamantium are no longer matched based on level. They are only matched against players with a similar rating. What this means is even if you're level 70, 80, 100, or 200, if you're a 1600 rating, or any other Adamantium League rating or Vibranium, then you can be matched up against another similarly rated level 300 player. What the developers said was, "We hope this discourages players who deliberately avoid leveling their agent." Let me know what you think about that one in the comment section. But anyways, that change isn't going to come until a future tournament. By the way, for this last battle, you may have noticed I switched up the team. I have to say, this one's really radiation overkill. This next future change is one of my favorites ever announced. They said in a future tournament they're going to balance the defensive battles. They basically acknowledge the fact that many of us go into a battle, we consistently win, and we still come out to a negative rating. The defensive battles are just way too much to keep up with. So what they said they're going to do is limit the number of defensive fights you can do within a certain period. Basically, with the other changes, there should be more players to pull opponents from. Thus, putting a protective bubble over certain players for a given time will not greatly affect other players in the pool. Other than that, they said they're not ready to announce all the details just yet. This change in particular I cannot wait for. It's actually going to make me want to play PvP again. Right now it's just so frustrating and only the last day matters. In fact, the last few hours alone can cost you everything. With a limit, you could actually build up your rating throughout the season, and then not have it all ruined at the very end. The only thing is I wish they had this for Season 15, because the hero is going to be Rocket Raccoon. Oh well, the least they can do though is put it in for Season 16, that way it's in place for Drax. Once this change is implemented, it's definitely going to be a lot less stressful. In my opinion, PvP will be worth all the time and effort once again. Lastly, they're focusing right now on cheating and banning. With the launch of PvP Season 14, players who were suspected of suspicious activity began to see warnings. Now, I did get reports from many people who weren't cheating that were getting these messages. But right here in the post, they said this doesn't mean that a player's cheating. It's just a first step in finding, catching, and banning people who are truly cheating. So I'm definitely happy they cleared that one up, and that they're actively searching for cheaters. That's basically it for the changes, but I do just want to say one more time that Rocket Raccoon will be the PvP Season 15 reward. There is also going to be a new PvP lockbox character, and that's going to be Taskmaster. So even if you don't do PvP, you're probably going to want to play at least 5 wins a day. I think he's going to be an awesome character, and he definitely looks amazing in game. He's a character that I've been looking forward to for quite some time. Then lastly, the PvP Season 16 hero will be Drax the Destroyer. That's pretty much it for the upcoming PvP tournaments and changes. I hope you're as excited about this news as I am. Well, that's going to be it for this video, and I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure to check out the From the Helicarrier podcast tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck, and take care.